Spiritual Teaching 309. Love each other. 1. Disciples, welcome to my teaching. I have communicated with your spirit, thus, you have felt me deep within your being. My teaching is for the nation of spiritual Israel and for all of humanity. I have come to prepare you spiritually so that your spirit will no longer be confused. 2. You need to understand and become aware of the great importance of the mission that I have entrusted to you. To carry out that mission, your spirit needs to remove all doubts by praying. It needs guidance from my teachings, spiritual revelations, and divine inspirations. Those spirits who have spiritually awakened through my teachings have now become my disciples. They have listened to my teachings with great seriousness and are saddened when they miss a single teaching. They are the ones who are aware of the great struggle that humanity will experience in the future. Also, they are aware that they will have to share with humanity all that they have received from me. All those who are aware of their great responsibility are now listening to my teaching through the spokesman. Through these teachings you comprehend the reason for your ordeals and the lessons in life that you need to experience. Truly I tell you that I use an infinite number of ways to communicate with your spirit, including human spokesmen. I am always spiritually communicating with my children and will always be with them, for I am eternally present throughout the universe. 3. I am present everywhere, and there is no single site where I am not present. 4. Your spirit has always communicated with me, but you have not been aware of the extent of that communication. That is why I have come to manifest myself through human beings during this third era, converting them into human spokesmen for my divine word. I have come to inform you that only one step separates this form communication with the communication from your spirit to my spirit. Therefore, I want you to truly strive to attain that perfect communication with the Lord. Before that can happen, this manifestation through the human spokesman will first have to cease. 5. When this manifestation through the human spokesman ceases, I am going to reveal many teachings to you when your spirit communicates with me from spirit to spirit. You will receive my divine inspiration as you journey along the paths that you need to travel. Also, you will be able to clearly perceive your past and to comprehend the steps that you have taken along your journey, including your successes and failures. The nation of spiritual Israel will become strong through that practice, and that strength will spread from individual to individual and from nation to nation until all of my children seek me from spirit to spirit. 7. Truly I tell you that humanity is revealing great signs that materialism is nearing its end. The advances that scientists have made, having utilized the secrets from nature, are reaching their limit. Nature will refuse to offer its secrets to man for evil purposes. Men, because of their insanity, selfish ambitions, and hatred, will harvest the fruit that they themselves have sowed. Epidemics, plagues, and fierce storms. Who will be able to detain those events from occurring? Will the scientists be able to detain the occurrence of those events if they have disrespectfully penetrated my secrets without love as their motive? Truly, I tell you that men will need to be touched by the divine justice of God. 8. Truly, mankind will have to experience much suffering during this third era. The weeping of mankind will be heard in all places throughout the world, and the bitterness that man will experience will be unlike any other he has suffered. Each individual will reap what he has sowed. The suffering that is occurring on earth will intensify, and man is beginning to experience spiritual hunger and thirst. He hungers and thirsts for those things that are pure, divine, and eternal. 9. What is the mission that you will need to fulfill as your brethren experience suffering? You will need to truly practice and comprehend my teaching, because not only should spirituality be reflected in your words, but in all you do each and every day spiritually, morally, and materially without falling into fanaticism nor mysticism. You need to live in a pure and simple manner, allowing your material body to be guided by its spirit. Thus, there will be harmony in your life as you fulfill your mission, guiding your brethren with your example. 10. I bless each step you have taken within my divine work. I will multiply those steps so that through your journeys on earth you will be messengers of my divine peace and new revelations. You have been spiritually prepared through my divine teachings, and it is my will for you to teach your brethren the path of regeneration. Thus, they will awaken spiritually to pursue noble ideals. As they become inspired by those things that are divine, they will achieve spirituality. Then, you will have attained true spiritual preparation and never regress again along that path. 11. The ordeals that presently frighten you and detain you along your path will no longer do that when that time arrives. You will then realize the great strength that you have acquired by practicing my law. Continue to prepare yourself and to comprehend the true essence of my teachings. For now, fulfill your responsibilities as my disciples and allow me to manifest myself through you as Divine Master, Father, and Divine Enlightenment. 12. All spiritual beings will fulfill their mission. I will utilize each being to help me prepare those things that need to be done to fulfill my word. You are mistaken if you believe that only this multitude is responsible for redeeming humanity. This multitude has been assigned only a minimal portion within this divine work. All of my children, in their own way, will need to work together to attain unity and harmony within the universe. 13. There will be many who will arise to attain peace through prayer, love, and goodwill. They will be recognized through the practice of those virtues and will triumph with my teaching. 14. Do not judge your brethren nor my divine justice. My law is frequently judged by men, and I say to you, only I can penetrate into my higher judgments. 15. Those who hunger and thirst for peace and whose lives are filled with great turmoil await my justice every day. They want my justice to reach those who have guided their nations to misery and destruction. However, one must not await that form of justice because my divine justice is perfect and I demonstrate it with my love. 16. Analyze my word so that you will not become confused, as many do, with how I carry out my divine justice. Some who commit a great sin do not appear to suffer a serious consequence, whereas others who commit a less serious sin appear to suffer a harsher consequence. The Divine Master tells you, since I know the weaknesses of each spirit, I permit some to suffer harsher consequences so that they will remain in the right path. Thus, they will not take that first step toward the abyss. But if others appear to suffer less for greater sins, it is because I know that a serious sin can also lead to a greater repentance for a spirit. 17. Do not judge others, nor desire with your thoughts that my justice fall upon those who are responsible for the bloodshed among nations. Keep in mind that they, as you, are also my children, and that they will need to cleanse their great sins with great restitution. Truly I tell you, those individuals who, without compassion, have destroyed peace and led mankind to a state of disorder will in time become the great peacemakers and helpers of mankind. 18. The blood of millions of victims cries out from the earth for my divine justice. It will be my justice, not human justice, that will judge every spirit and every heart. Human justice does not forgive, redeem, nor love, whereas my divine justice forgives, loves, redeems, resurrects, illuminates, and helps the one who has fallen to arise. I will redeem and save those who have caused much suffering for humanity. They will experience a great restitution in which they will be purified. Then they will be able to listen to the voice of their conscience, judging their past deeds. I will make them journey through the same path traveled by their victims. At the end of their journey, they will achieve a spiritual purity that will enable them to return to earth to renew, to rebuild, and to restore all that was destroyed and lost. 19. Do you perhaps think that I am too lenient in my justice toward the sins of my children? Do you think I am too tolerant and fragile in my justice? I revealed this same justice with Cain, the one who committed the first murder. When Cain and Abel offered me their burnt offerings, I observed that the offering of Abel was innocent and sincere, but that of Cain was filled with vanity. I accepted Abel's offering, but I did not accept Cain's. Knowing this, Cain became enraged and full of hatred and killed his brother. I called to his attention the life that he had taken and manifested to him my discontent. He said to me, "My wickedness is too great to be forgiven. You are displeased because I have killed my brother and are banishing me from this land. I feel that along my path I must die in the same manner as did my brother." I answered him thus, "Truly I tell you, that he who kills Cain will be punished 7 times. Cain then understood that I still loved him, because I offered him my forgiveness. But he also realized that it was necessary for him to make restitution for his sin, to cleanse his stain, and to make himself worthy of that sacred and divine forgiveness. 20. What voice spoke to Cain? It was the voice of his conscience. That voice is a judge that I have placed within each of my children. That same voice will speak persistently to every human being, because it is a judge that does not allow itself to be silenced. The conscience will speak to every being with the same clarity as it did to Cain. You need to understand that Cain was not aware of the magnitude of his crime, nor did he know the meaning of death when he killed his brother. Unlike Cain, men of today do know. 21. That is why in this period I will not permit your concept of justice to be carried out. Rather I, the judge, will await each one of my children to come before me to sentence each one accordingly. Thus each will restitute for his faults through the suffering and remorse that he will feel through his conscience. This is when each child will comprehend the great love of his Lord. 22. During this third era, I have confirmed that spiritual beings reincarnate. Throughout the eras, men have intuitively sensed that reincarnation exists. Although the spirit of man has revealed this to the material flesh, man is fragile, skeptical, and doubts that reincarnation exists. Beings from the spiritual valley have come to earth to inform mankind about reincarnation, but only a few individuals have believed them. Many individuals who are ignorant and skeptical have rejected and battled against that revelation. Although most individuals are afraid to acknowledge that reincarnation does exist, during this time humanity senses that reincarnation does exist. However, I have come during this period to confirm that reincarnation does exist and to tell you, my divine law of love is manifested through the reincarnation of the Spirit. Truly I tell you that there are very few individuals who have only come one time to reincarnate on earth. Through my divine charity, most human beings have had to reincarnate many times on earth because of the hurt and harm they have done. Although your spirit is aware of this, the material body is similar to a thick veil that prevents you from discovering the true wisdom found in these teachings. 23. Very little has been revealed to you about your previous lives because that knowledge should not be revealed to you until you are truly spiritually prepared and understand my divine wisdom. When you study teachings about the spiritual life, I do not want you to create new sciences from them that only create curiosity and the desire to scrutinize, thus wasting valuable time. As you journey along your spiritual path, I want you to progress with each step that you take. The knowledge that I want you to acquire along your path is knowledge that will help you to evolve spiritually. Other knowledge that you want revealed to you because of human curiosity will not be revealed at this time, because it is sacred and pertains to your spiritual heritage. 24. When humanity begins to truly progress along the path of spirituality and to fulfill my laws, the Holy Spirit will reveal great lessons to man while he is living on earth. Man will be able to clearly perceive his past, his present, and his future according to my will. Disciples, that is why I am asking you to truly follow the path of spirituality that this doctrine teaches you to follow. Thus, you will become my true prophets who will announce to the multitudes the dangers that they will encounter along their path. Thus, you will help those multitudes from making mistakes. I will help you to fulfill your mission and will reveal to you, at the appropriate moment, information related to the past lives of those individuals who are incredulous and skeptical. I will reveal that knowledge to you so that you will teach your brethren about my revelations, but not so that you will judge them. 25. Thus, Men will begin to awaken along their path of spiritual evolution and will realize that one lifetime on earth is not sufficient to comprehend my eternal teachings. 26. If, in that struggle, you truly work hard to progress, you will be able to achieve many things. But is there anyone among you who can say with certainty that he will need to return or not return to earth? Is there anyone who can say, "During this life I have accomplished all of the things that the Father outlined for my destiny, and I am now ready to enter new mansions as I get closer to God along the infinite ladder of evolution"? Truly, I tell you that you possess very little knowledge to be able to comprehend these teachings. However, those individuals who fulfill their mission on earth will have progressed along their path of spiritual evolution. They will be learning from every teaching and will progress as they dwell from mansion to mansion throughout eternity. Do you believe that your conscience, which is my justice, would allow you to dwell in mansions that are highly evolved? 27. Be submissive, work, and fulfill my divine will. Many of you will perceive, while you are on earth, the fulfillment of my prophecies, the transformation of humanity, and the salvation of all individuals. However, mankind will still need to endure great struggles and battles never before encountered by man nor yet known in history. If you who are aware of the events that are approaching need to purify yourselves, what will happen to those individuals who have disregarded the teachings of the Holy Spirit? What will happen to those who have disrespected my law, who have forgotten their mission, and who continue to live in ignorance and with their traditions? 28. The large legions of spiritual beings will also be judged by me. Although they will experience suffering, remorse, and confusion, it will serve to purify them. But truly I tell you that I will also help those beings. When they awaken from their spiritual sleep, they will perceive the Divine Father offering His forgiveness. They will then await for the Father to send them back to earth to correct their mistakes and to follow the path that previously they had disrespected and neglected. I, their loving Father, will grant them the opportunity to correct their mistakes and to become worthy of my love. 29. That is why I tell you not to judge those individuals who are great sinners and who have stained themselves with the blood of their brethren. In your eternal existence, there are sins that are much greater than shedding the blood of your brethren. Do not assume that you know it all, for I have already told you that there are many things that can only be judged by God. 30. All that you need to do is to love and forgive your brethren. I permit you to study and analyze the events that occur because I do not want you to be indifferent, blind, and insensitive to the suffering that your brethren are experiencing. I have come to teach you to be sensitive through my teachings, so that when the appropriate time arrives, you will share my doctrine with your brethren with love, understanding, comfort, and forgiveness. You will become a guiding light, a shining star, and a faithful friend, and will reflect those qualities in all you do and wherever you are. 31. I do not want you to perceive others as foreigners. I want you to practice true universal brotherhood with all of your brethren. 32. Although you need to fulfill the human laws on earth, they are secondary to my doctrine and to the spirituality that you need to practice. Truly I tell you that, if you obey my laws, I will help you to triumph over the most serious conflicts that you will confront due to human laws. You will need to battle against injustice and perversity, not by using hatred nor weapons that kill, but by using the weapon of love. You will not be alone in your battle. I have informed you that among humanity, there are individuals who are now freeing themselves from materialism. Because of their ordeals, they are becoming spiritually stronger and are seeking to communicate with me. Who are those spiritual beings? It is not necessary for you to know at this time. 33. Elevate your spirit, love one another, and unite in the spiritual valley as you seek to truly achieve the ideal of universal brotherhood. I will summon you to the spiritual mountain where I will be with all those beings who yearn for peace and salvation. I will offer them strength and faith through my revelations so that they may continue with their journey. Spirits will continue to come forth, some as wildflowers and others as thorns in the desert. but they will all be united by the same ideal. Thus, they will offer their deeds of love as a tribute to me. From the spiritual valley, your universal love for one another will be an offering of love to me. 34. O disciples, I am teaching you these things in the final year of this manifestation, because truly I tell you that your spirituality will be greatly tested. How many of you will become slaves to fanaticism and idolatry? Also, how many of you will begin to yield to mysticism or add to my doctrine because you want to distinguish yourselves among humanity? O my people, be vigilant and pray. Do not forget that the more pure and simple your life is, and the more it is inspired by my laws, then the greater the perfection that will be attained by your spirit. You need to practice more spirituality in your life and less ceremonies and rituals. As you practice more charity and love with your brethren, you will be truly loving me. 35. A time is coming in which all the nations on earth will practice great fanaticism and idolatry, and ceremonies will be practiced to the extreme. The ministers and priests from the different religions and sects will guide their followers in these practices. It will create a period of great turbulence and confusion. I will allow it to happen because it will be a time when spirits will feel lost, and there will not be a single one who will feel safe and secure. 36. The moment will arrive in which all spirits will be confused, and they will not be able to find peace anywhere. Man will then seek to find answers from ministers who are viewed as saints and considered highly intelligent by humanity. However, man will be astonished to discover that those ministers are also confused and lack peace and enlightenment. Although there will be great darkness and confusion everywhere, spirits will arise seeking salvation. They will then perceive a shining light. It will be a light emitted by the Holy Spirit that has come to guide humanity. It will shine throughout the universe, eliminating confusion as it awaits the return of all his children. 37. After that period of ordeals, man will achieve spiritual freedom. He will become disillusioned with the idols that he had previously worshipped and will destroy them. He will also destroy the elegant temples that were filled with vanity and false splendor. Individuals who had created new doctrines will begin to eliminate their own doctrines. 38. During that period, people will listen attentively to those who are the most humble and uneducated among this multitude. Many individuals from among this simple and humble multitude who are now listening to my teaching and who consider themselves lacking in spirituality and eloquence will see themselves surrounded by many people in the near future. Those surrounding them will include individuals who thought they were foolish listening to my teachings through the human spokesman. Many individuals who now doubt these teachings will weep later, as did Peter, as they perceive my word being fulfilled. 39. Continue to prepare yourself for now. Strengthen yourself spiritually with my doctrine, which has not come to confuse man, but to teach him the path of redemption and salvation through spirituality. What is spirituality? It is the path outlined by me since the beginning of time, a path through which all purifying spirits will reach God. That path contains the divine law from which all virtues originate. The Book of Life is also found in that path, a book that contains all of God's wisdom. I have come during this period to invite you, once again, to follow that path. 40. I am speaking to man for the third time from the top of the mountain to tell him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Do not separate from me anymore. 41. After my body was removed from the cross and taken for burial, my disciples were frightened and were unable to comprehend what had happened. They believed that with the death of the Divine Master, everything was finished. It was necessary for them to see and to hear me once again, in order for their faith to become stronger and to confirm their knowledge of my word. 42. Now I need to tell you that among those disciples there was one who never doubted me. He never hesitated when confronting an ordeal, and he never abandoned me for a single moment. That apostle was John. He was faithful, courageous, devoted, and very loving. Because of this love, I entrusted him to Mary at the foot of the cross, so that he would continue to be nourished with her pure love and be strengthened for the struggles that awaited him. The other disciples, brothers of John, were persecuted and murdered one by one. Those disciples confirmed, with their blood and with their lives, the truth of what they preached and the name of their divine master. But John triumphed over death and was able to escape the persecution. Although his persecutors confined him to an island, they were not aware that John would be given a great revelation on that island of the future. The times you now live. The prophecy revealed to man what was to be and what would be fulfilled. 43. After truly loving his brethren and dedicating his life to serving them in the name of his master, John had to live in solitaire, isolated from others. But he continued to pray for humanity, and his thoughts were always with those for whom Jesus had shed his blood. 44. John, the man and his spirit, were able to evolve miraculously in a brief time because of his prayers, silence, meditation, virtuous thoughts, and the purity of his existence, whereas other spirits have needed thousands of years to evolve as much as he did during that time. 45. Yes, my disciples, John is an example of what the human spirit will achieve in times to come. The revelation given to John will be fulfilled in this period. The spiritual things that he saw, which were symbolically represented, were seen through the gift of spiritual vision. 46. The divine voice and the voice of the spiritual world were able to reach his mind and touch his heart. This was the first sign of the divine communication that was to take place in this period through the use of human spokesmen. John, instructed by an angel, wrote everything that he saw and heard, revealing to humanity the communication of spirit to spirit that would come when man eliminates all impurities and materialism in his life. 47. When will men pay attention to the written revelations that were left by my beloved disciple? The form in which the revelation was described is strange, its meaning mysterious, and its words very profound. Who will be able to understand its meaning? Those who have been interested in the revelation of John have analyzed it and have studied it profoundly. Some have come close to understanding the truth. Others, believing that they have discovered its true meaning, have informed the world of their knowledge. There are also those who become confused or weary studying it, feeling that the revelation of John lacks divine essence. 48. Disciples of the Third Era, today I come to inform you that if you truly wish to penetrate into that divine sanctuary and to discover the meaning of those revelations, you will need to pray from spirit to spirit as John did when he was in exile. You need to understand that although the divine revelation was represented utilizing material forms and figures, it spoke of the human spirit, its evolution, its struggle, its temptations, its downfalls, its disobedience, and its disrespect of the divine. The revelation speaks of my justice, my wisdom, my kingdom, and my ordeals. Also, it speaks of my communication with mankind, man's awakening, his regeneration, and finally his spirituality. 49. In that revelation, I reveal the spiritual journey of humanity, which I divided into eras so that man could have a greater understanding of the evolution of the spirit. 50. Disciples, since the revelation refers to your spiritual life, it is necessary for you to study it and to understand it from a spiritual viewpoint. If you only analyze it through its material events, you will become confused, as do many others. 51. It is true that many material events are, and will be, related with the fulfillment of that revelation. However, you need to know that those events are symbolic examples that help you understand my truth. Also, they will help you to fulfill your destiny of elevating toward me with a purifying spirit. John, my disciple, left a brilliant example of this when he communicated with God from spirit to spirit thousands of years ahead of humanity. My peace be with you.